All right, let's get started. So this morning's presentation is called The 3 Keys to a Successful Knee Replacement. And I'm your host. My name is Lindsay Warwick. So you've come to the right place if you've got any of the following problems. First off, if your knee pain is affecting your life and limiting the fun activities that you do, if you have no idea where to start to get prepared for your knee replacement, or third, if you want to learn a few simple things you can do to start getting prepared for your surgery today, then you're in the right place for this workshop. So our workshop is going to include a few simple things you can do today from the comfort of your own home to help you start preparing for your surgery. Also, hopefully I'll take away some of that stress involved too. That's really the goal. And for joining me today on this special workshop, I've got a bonus for you at the end. If you stick around, I will send an email at the end of this workshop, and it will include a bonus as well as a link to the replay. So you can always refer back to this if you miss anything along the way this morning. So just a bit of housekeeping before we start. Just turn off your distractions. If you have any questions along the way, put them in the chat box. And at the end, I've got time dedicated for some Q&A. So that's when we can go through any of the questions you've had along the way. So for starters, who here has actually got a plan in place to help them prepare for their knee surgery? Whether that's you've already done an info session, whether you've got yourself a plan with a physiotherapist or your surgeon has sent you somewhere. Let me know in the chat box if you've got any type of plan in place already preparing for surgery. So if you're like most people, what I've discovered over the last few years is that when people start thinking about their knee replacement, they get into a little bit of a panic. It's a big undertaking, a big surgery, and often it's something that you've waited years and years to have done. And just the thought of it can kind of send you off into a spiral. Other people have also tried getting in shape ahead of time because they want to be prepared for surgery, but getting in shape can be really hard. It can be discouraging. And often people make a little bit of progress and then they quit because they lack the support or the proper information to get themselves prepared fully. Also, if you've started a knee strengthening program, sometimes that actually makes your knee pain worse for a period of time. And that can be frustrating and also cause you to quit and get discouraged. And then finally, chronic pain. It takes a toll on not just your knees, but your general health. And most people want to learn how to better control chronic pain and get their quality of life back. So the solutions are, of course, you want to have a plan. You want to feel like you're prepared. You want to know where to get started. You want to be able to be active without paying for it afterwards. Sometimes you can pay for hours or days because your knees get flared up. Also, feeling confident that you actually know the road ahead and don't go into a panic when you start thinking about your knee replacements. And then also learning some simple ways to help manage your pain now and after surgery. Great, I'm seeing some things in the chat there. Excellent walking program, deep water exercise, perfect. So let me formally introduce myself. My name is Lindsay Warwick, and I am a physiotherapist, and I've decided I want to change the way people prepare for their knee replacements. I've worked in healthcare at a local hospital for the last decade, and I've helped hundreds of people get out of bed for the first time after their knee replacement. And I've discovered that there's a few key things that people are lacking that would really help to get them on track, moving on their own and quickly recover from their surgery. So let's dive into the actual 3 keys for your successful knee replacement. Everybody ready? All right, here we go. So number one, there's muscle strength. That's really important before surgery. And the biggest muscle that you should focus your time and energy on is your quads muscle. So this animation here shows the quad muscle. It is the big muscle that runs across the front of the thigh. It's got 4 muscle bellies. That's why it's called a quad. And if you had to only pick one muscle to focus on before surgery, this would be the muscle. So why is your quad so important? The reason it's so important is basically the location of the muscle. It crosses your knee and your hip, and it is a muscle belly with, a muscle with 4 muscle bellies. So it actually has quite a lot of power across the knee joint. Function, this muscle is for bending and straightening, especially when you're in a standing position. So if you've ever done a set of stairs and your knee gets sore after the fact, and you find that your knee isn't bending or straightening very well after, it's usually your quad muscles that have failed you. Now, when you have weakness in your knee, usually because your arthritis causes pain in the joint, and then the muscles start to decondition because of that pain. When you have weakness, it actually puts more strain on the joint. You can think of muscles as shock absorbers. They actually absorb some of the force through your knee joint. And when your muscles are weak, you can imagine there's more force and strain going through the joint itself. And when you have arthritis, that of course aggravates your arthritis pain. And then the final reason why quads are so important, especially when preparing for a knee replacement, is tightness. If you have a tight quad muscle, it actually can limit the amount of movement in your knee. So the bending and straightening of the knee can be limited. If you can optimize your flexibility of your muscle before surgery, it actually will help after your knee replacement's done, because then your range of movement, or the amount of movement in your knee, can get back to as full of movement as possible. And physios and doctors always want to check your range. And that's actually one of the key factors they check to see how your progress is after surgery. So having better flexibility ahead of time can really pay off after you've had your knee replacement. Okay, so now it's question time. After hearing my description there, how strong do you think your quads are? 0 is being they have no strength, and 10 would be you're a bodybuilder, power lifter who can squat press 300 pounds. Just put a number in the chat and let me know what you think your quad strength is like today. There we go, good, 7, excellent. Quads are super important, so, oh, there we go, 4, yeah. And so you can think, if you start with a 7 today after surgery, that'll go down at least, a handful of points, because the surgery itself will cause the muscle to get weaker for a brief period of time. So the higher the number now, the better the bounce back after surgery. All right. So now that we've talked about muscle strength, the second component is actually stress and anxiety. And how do you control that after having surgery, or even before? So one of the best ways to help with stress and anxiety are breathing or relaxation exercises. So there's a wide variety of options out there. But what I've found in hospital is if people hold their breath and are tense, it actually can worsen their pain. They have a harder time managing their pain, and it actually sometimes will prevent them from being able to make any progress. So learning some simple strategies to calm your nervous system can have a huge benefit, not only before surgery, but also afterwards. So you might be wondering, why does stress have anything to do with pain? Well, the two are closely linked. This is the pain cycle that I pulled off of the Arthritis Society of Canada's website, and it kind of shows the sort of interlinking of all these different factors that can lead to chronic pain. Of course, it started out with disease pain, meaning the arthritis in your knee. Sometimes that pain then causes tense muscles causes stress causes fear, anger, frustration. That eventually could lead to depression, fatigue, and the circle continues round and round. Now, the reason they've called this a pain cycle is that the goal is to break the cycle. And by addressing even just one or two pieces of this cycle, you can actually have a positive impact on your chronic pain. And when we're talking about chronic pain, what I mean is pain that's lasted for weeks or months, as opposed to acute pain, which would be the type of pain that you're going to have after the surgery from the surgery itself. So being able to deal with your chronic pain ahead of time and knowing some tools and techniques that work for you now can really help with your pain management after surgery, because you're not dealing with acute pain on top of chronic pain. So we're going to take a moment and do a fun little activity here. Just trying to take a few moments to allow yourself to relax. So I'm going to put on a little bit of music, and hopefully this is still working with my screen share. There we go. Okay. Can everybody still see my screen? There we go. Whoops. Going back one slide. There we go. All right, so let's give this a try. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and just listen to the instructions for the next minute or two. I want you to lean back and let yourself feel supported by your chair, and relax your shoulders, your head, and your neck. Place your hands on your stomach and think to yourself, I'm going to relax by learning how to focus my breathing deep down into my belly. Start now by taking a big breath in and blowing it out so you can hear a sigh of relief. Just like that. Try it one more time. Good. Now focus on slow, deep breathing at your own comfortable pace. When you breathe in, inhale through your nose. When you breathe out through your mouth by pursing your lips. To help you inhale fully and slowly, imagine air moving down towards your belly and feel your belly pushing out and filling with air. To help you slowly exhale, purse your lips and imagine that you're blowing bubbles through a straw. Continue at your own pace, thinking about breathing in slowly through your nose so the air fills your belly, and then slowly breathe out so you feel your belly relaxing. Each time you exhale, focus on a body part relaxing, feeling warm and supported. Start with your toes and then move up through your body towards the top of your head. We're going to continue this deep breathing for the next 30 seconds or so, and I'll just let the music play. Keep your eyes closed and take controlled, slow, relaxed, deep breaths. Great. Okay, how does everyone feel after that? Oops, I lost the screen. Give me one moment. There we go. Okay. So that was just a really brief introduction into some breathing and relaxation exercises. Did anybody notice a difference after just that short little breathing pattern? You can let me know in the chat there if anyone got any relief from that. I know I did. Presenting is not something that's within my comfort zone. So remembering to breathe is really actually a good reminder. And that's why I put it in here. Okay, so the third key to a successful knee replacement is having the right equipment for after surgery. Now, can anyone give me a guess on what they think the essential piece of equipment that you might need after surgery would be? And the hint here is it's not in the picture on this slide. Da-da-da, it's actually a two-wheeled walker. Now, you might look at it and think, okay, a two-wheeled walker, that's for old people. But after a knee surgery, a two-wheeled walker is extremely helpful and valuable because what it'll do is it will give you the support that you need in order to start moving well from the first time you get out of bed until you graduate off of the walker and no longer need it anymore. I see too many people after their surgery sort of hobbling around at their bedside, not really putting any weight onto their new knee, and sort of limiting how much activity that knee is doing. The key thing here is you actually don't want to limp after your surgery. So you want to find the type of walking aid that will give you the support that you can actually move with a fairly normal pattern. And the final thing there is that you'll need extra balance. Your leg won't be able to take your full weight like it normally does. And that's where we get a lot of our balance from. So if you have something for your hands to lean into, that will actually make you feel a lot more steady and secure on your feet. Now, some people prefer to use crutches after surgery, and that's totally fine. The only downside of the crutches is that you have two independent moving pieces that can make it a little bit harder to manage your balance with. So I often recommend people start with a two-wheeled walker, especially their first, week or two after their surgery. And then after that point, then you might want to graduate to the crutches. The other thing to keep in mind is that when you're right after your surgery, you'll probably be on some heavy pain medications. Those can affect your blood pressure, make you feel a little dizzy, a little nauseous, and just a little bit kind of floaty or fuzzy. So again, that affects your balance and you do not want to have a fall. The hardest thing would be trying to get up from the ground if you had a slip and a fall after your surgery with an already sore leg. So keeping yourself safe and balanced is priority number one. So talking about walking aids, I know people with arthritis often have had to deal with their pain for quite a long period of time, and they've sort of adapted or learned how to manage their knee pain, but maybe not in the most productive of ways. So I just wanted to put a few of the signs up here on this slide that you might actually benefit from a walking aid now as opposed to after your surgery. So if you currently walk with a limp, you should be using a walking aid. Also, if you limit how far you walk because of your pain, that's another sign that some support would probably allow you to walk further or engage in more activity than what you're able to do now. And the final thing is if you're starting to notice that your other joints, like your ankle, your hip, or your low back are starting to become painful, it could be because of the compensation or the limitation that you're putting on that knee. It's starting to sort of carry over into the other joints. You have to think of the whole leg as a complete unit, and anytime you change the way you move at one of the joints, it's it's going to have a carry on or a knock on effect to the other joints. So eventually over time, you can start to wear those out and suffer pain in those joints as well. So after hearing that, is there anybody who thinks they should be using a walking aid now, today? Just pop it in the chat. I will say most people are so hesitant to use a walker for the fear of looking old. And I have a funny story about my grandma who refused to use her four-wheeled walker even at close to 90 years old because she actually thought it made her look old, not the fact that she was nearly 90. Okay, excellent. Let's move on. So here's a quick recap of the 3 keys that we covered in our workshop here. So the best strength exercise and muscle you can focus on are your quads. Pain control. It's more than just using medication. Stress can actually have quite a major role in your chronic pain. A few minutes of breathing or relaxation exercises can help reduce your stress and pain levels. And then finally, using a 2-wheeled walker after your knee surgery will allow you to get moving quickly and safely and keep your independence, which is really what most people are striving for. So what I want you to do now is I want you to get started with these 3 things. Maybe not the 2-wheeled walker, but at least keeping in mind that maybe some sort of walking poles, the hiking poles, sticks, something like that might be useful if you are active and finding that your knee pain is limiting you. But find some quad exercises that you can manage with your level of knee pain and get started with those breathing exercises because those are really helpful with managing not just knee pain, but everyday stress. So you might still be a little bit like, well, how am I going to get started? And so this is where I'm going to start providing you with a simple solution that I've been working on for the last few months. And I'm really excited to let you know about this course I've created called the Total Knee Prep course. I created this course because I've seen the effects that people who don't come to their knee replacement prepared have. It can worsen their pain, it prolongs their hospital stay, and it actually makes their recovery a bit harder. And the biggest key thing is fear. People are worried that they're going to ruin their new knee. They have fear that they'll be in pain. They have fear they'll never get better. Fear they may never walk again. I've heard it all. One lady actually was worried she popped all her staples out just with looking at her knee. So I want to create a community of people who are confident showing up for their surgery. And that's why I've created this course. Oops, it went one too far. Hold on one sec. So this online program I've created is divided into 3 sections. The first are the video tutorials that you'll watch online. Then there's exercises and exercise videos that you follow, as well as an exercise tracker to keep track of your progress. And then there's a workbook that basically covers all the information provided in the videos and exercises. And the best part about this is it's completely online. All you'll need is an internet connection. So no matter where you are and what you're doing, you have access to the course. I've focused on not only the exercise component, but also on how to prepare your mind. There's journaling prompts, information on pain management, guided meditations, and also some, for most people, a new type of pain management strategy called EFT or tapping. You have lifetime access. So if you have a surgery booked for 6 months from now, or even 6 weeks from now, you have ability to follow through on getting prepared. And the final highlight is that I've created a private Facebook group just for the course, so you can chat with others preparing for surgery. You can compare war stories. You can ask me questions. I'll be the moderator in the group, so you can ask me anything. And also you can find an accountability partner if you're somebody who benefits from having someone else keeping tabs on them. So before the total knee prep course, here's you sitting on the sidelines, pain stopping you from engaging in life and having fun. And then here's the after. You get back to the activities you love without worrying about your knees. So like I said before, it's different than other courses because it actually combines the physical with the mental preparation. I've discovered that if you can prepare your mind, it actually is one of the most powerful pieces that will help you to recover. Knowing what you're in for, feeling like you have the knowledge and the information can really calm your nerves, but also, setting some goals, writing these things down and reflecting on how you're making progress can really boost your confidence ahead of time. So here's your worst case scenario. You test the course out, you try the first 2 modules for the first 2 weeks, and if you don't like it, you get a full refund. We go our separate ways, no hard feelings. Best case scenario, you buy the course, you follow the program, you slowly build your strength and confidence, and by the end, you feel completely prepared for your total knee replacement. So just take a moment, think of yourself a year from now. What do you want to get back to? What are some things in your life that you enjoy doing, but have either had to limit or eliminate because of your knee pain? Or is there something else that you haven't tried before that you're waiting to do after? Sometimes it's helpful to keep these big goals in mind because it does make the hard work that you need to put in ahead of time worth all the effort. So here's just a quick rundown of what's included in the course. And the biggest component of this is the ease of doing it online. You can fit it into whatever schedule that works with you. Each video and tutorial takes about 15 minutes. And then the journaling can be done at any time of the day, as well as the exercises. So the course itself is a $297 payment, but if you book and buy the course by the end of the day on May the 4th, I am offering a one-to-one 30-minute Zoom coaching call as a bonus with me. So if you purchase in the next few days, then that bonus is all yours and it'll be included in your emails as to how to set that up. And as I promised, the special bonus for you is going to be a guided visualization as well as a sheet that includes information about how to calm your nerves about surgery and a sheet of how to write down questions for your surgeon so that when you show up the next time to your appointment, you've got everything listed in one place so you don't forget all of the questions you wanted to ask. It'll be in your email for signing up for this workshop and have a look. It should be there later this afternoon.